Good evening. This is the Dania Beach City Commission regular meeting. It is Tuesday, December 10, 2019 at 7:06 p.m. Can you please call the roll?
Mayor Llewellyn.
Here.
Vice Mayor Odman.
Here.
Commissioner Brandemart.
Here.
Commissioner Harris.
Here.
Commissioner James.
Here.
City Manager Garcia.
Here.
City Attorney Ansborough.
Here.
Thank you.
And can you please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? And can you please also join me for a moment of silence? Thank you. Just for those who are watching and anybody that's here, we're still having some technical difficulties. This will be on channel 78, but they're having difficulty with streaming on YouTube. So anybody who's trying to stream on YouTube won't be able to see it. First item up is presentations and special event approvals, and we're going to bump up one item real quick. That's actually it's not on there, is it? No. We wanted to call up, let's see, Rabbi Eli Eckstein to talk about your event.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you, City Manager. Thank you to the whole committee for giving me the opportunity to talk for a few minutes. My name is Rabbi Eli Eckstein. We just moved here to Dania Beach to open up a Chabad Jewish Center. For those who don't know what Chabad's all about, we're basically an international organization. Everywhere you go around the world, you can find the Chabad house. The joke goes, wherever you can find Coca-Cola, you find Chabad. So the idea of Chabad is we're an outreach organization, a Jewish outreach organization, and our doors are open to everyone to come in, to feel comfortable, to make the world a better and brighter place. And we finally made it to Dania Beach. So with God's help, we're going to eventually find a place to open up a Chabad center here in Dania Beach. Just to speak a little bit about our program that we're going to do in front of City Hall at the end of the month is the holiday of Hanukkah. And it's obviously the holiday of lights, and it's our pleasure to work with City Hall to make a public menorah lighting right here in front of City Hall. We're going to bring a 9-foot menorah, and it's going to be the second day of Hanukkah, and we're going to light it up. We're going to have we're going to dance. We're bringing a keyboard player, and we're going to have all the festive traditional food, the latkes and the donuts. And the idea is to bring positivity and light to the world, where we see, unfortunately, in today's day and age, I don't know if anybody was following the current events. What happened today in New Jersey? There was a terrorist attack in a Jewish market, where it's even a little hard in the United States of America to be a proud Jew. So it's important that the Jewish community of Dania Beach knows that no matter where we are and when it is, that we're always able to practice any religion with being proud and not being scared. So thank you to the entire committee for making this happen, making this take place, and looking forward to working with everybody in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Oh, yeah. The menorah lighting is on Monday, December 23rd from 6 to 7 outside of Dania Beach City Hall.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next presentation is presentation on social media, website updating, and graphic design services by Multimedia Marketing Associates.
Hello, good evening. I'm Jose with Multimedia.
Can you give your full name, please?
Jose Luya with Multimedia.
Thank you.
And I have Kyla here, a team member with us. And we're going to give you a little presentation as to Multimedia and what we do and who we are. And thank you for having us, first and foremost. So Multimedia is a company that does social media, web, graphic design, video, pretty much any and all creative services, if you will. Started the company about 24 years ago. Quite proud of that. And we strive towards meeting any challenge and exceeding our customers' expectations. And I believe that we've successfully done that for the purpose of that's what's allowed us to be in business for as long as we have, continuing and to grow, if you will. So as I mentioned, social media, web, graphic design, film, video production as well as we do. Okay? Yeah, you're going the wrong way. Here you go. Some of our clients consist of multiple municipalities, such as Cutler Bay, Doral, Homestead, Miramar, Oakland Park. So we've done business with federal government as well, Navy, Army Corps of Engineers, Air Force, you name it. It pretty much runs the gamut, as well as private entities and private organizations, University of Miami, Hershey, and the list goes on. These are some of the top companies that we've done work with. Right? And
so I'm stepping in.
yes.
I work with them at times and very often with clients. And so I'm the one who will be working with the City of Dania Beach, hand in hand, to help enhance your social media. Your presence online, your citizen engagement, the way you interact with each other, and how we get the community involved in being a part of your daily activities, as well as getting involved in hearing feedback on what stories and what presence you're having right now. One of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to focus mostly on the fact that while we have a lot of other services, we do have the ability to handle your immediate need, which is social media, web updating, and graphic design. You'll see that even though we are locally based, that we have a very wide reach of items. And I know that they've brought this to you before, but one of the things they didn't get a chance to do last time was get to introduce who we were, and we wanted to make sure we got a chance to let you see that we are already working to help you in any way we can. So as far as social media management, we've been doing web for a very long time. Social media is quite new, and it comes to, we've been in business since '95. Social media really became popular in the last 11 to 12 years. Even though Facebook started in 2004, it really didn't take off right away. I don't know what that sound is. But it has since grown. I mean, up to this morning, you'll see that they were talking about people are doing their Christmas shopping on live feeds in Instagram, whereas now they're becoming much more interactive than just sharing a photo. So there are ways in which we can engage and get feedback on things right on the minute. And we want to see ways in which we can help you do that here as well. Graphic design, as it may seem, mostly historically have been a lot of print. You know that that has changed to digital marketing, from email campaigns to social media. Anything that you do in print now can also tell a very great digital story. And if not, it's almost the way that you reach people, even primarily to print. So it goes hand in hand a lot of the times with the way in which we're going to enhance your social media presence. And that goes from LinkedIn to Instagram to Facebook. You see here as an example of flyers turned to pages on your website, linking back to your social media. It'll go back and forth. And those are one way in which we use community engagement, graphic design, social media, all to work together. We'll be working with your public information officer here to follow their lead as to what they are really needing for us to engage in. But we just wanted to come out, say hi, tell you we're excited to begin working, and that's it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Randy's not here, right? Okay. Okay, so we're skipping number 2. Next item is the update on the place at Dania Beach by Eddie Rojas, building official for CAP Government. And Carlos.
Hi, good evening.
Please state your name.
How's everyone? Carlos Panin, 343 Almeria Avenue in Coral Gables. What is normally a 20-minute drive is a little longer this hour of the afternoon. I'm with CAP Government, and we work with the city's building department. The Presentation today is from Eddie Rojas. Eddie Rojas has been with our company for over 6 months. He comes with an incredible resume, having worked as a within the building department as an inspector, as a plans examiner. He worked 5 years as a building official, and the last 5 years as a city manager. And he's been tasked through the manager's office to do this presentation. So I leave you with Eddie Rojas. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you. Okay, good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the Commission, Madam Manager, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk, members of the audience, anybody out there watching on Channel 78. My name is Edward Rojas, like Carlos said. I live at 4617 Northwest 109th Court, Doral, Florida 33178. I'm here tonight representing CAP Government. As you saw, Carlos, our president and founder of the company. We're an all-inclusive, full-service engineering firm and consulting firm that works across South Florida. We specialize in building department services, and we currently service jurisdictions across Florida, 63 of them to be exact, and very proud to say that we service the city of Dania Beach. We've been in business for 30 years. We have over 200 employees, and we have expertise across 15 professional technical disciplines. And so, like I said, I'm here tonight to give you an update on 2 incidents that have occurred at the place at Dania Beach, and to give you an update as to what actions the administration is taking to restore a sense of confidence and to placate some of the concerns of the residents who live in that rental building community. The place at Dania Beach is a new 8-story building located at 180 Dania Beach Boulevard. Construction started on the building in 2015. The building was completed in 2017. Amongst other things, it has an amenity that is a pool that's located on the 7th floor, and it's that pool that we are going to be discussing briefly here this evening. Recently, there's been 2 major water loss events at the pool. One was on September 27th, and the second was on November 9th. Right now, the cause is still unclear. The one thing that we do know to date that the structure of the building and the structure of the pool itself is not a cause of this flooding. Both events cause flooding in most of the building underneath and adjacent to the pool room area, the pool equipment room area. The damage was extensive. It affected residents living in the units adjacent to that pool room and underneath. And it brought concern to the rest of the residents living in the building and to the building management. On November 11th, we received a call from Madam Manager, who called us in to talk to us a little bit about a project and engage our services to do what is essentially a third-party review, a peer review of the regulatory process that went into the approval of this pool and the construction of this pool, to look at the documents that were and the inspection records. So we developed a scope for this project. And the scope consists of basically a review and examination of all construction plans, engineering design criteria, engineering calculations, project specifications, and everything that was submitted to the city of Dania Beach for pool permit approval. We're going to review the plans, review and inspection records of the pool. We're going to review Broward County Building Department and the State of Florida Health Department plans review. Those are outside agencies that I guess that were involved in this process as well. And ultimately, we're going to conduct a site inspection with all those documents to make sure that the installation out in the field matches the documents that were approved and everything is compliant with the Florida Building Code. In order to accomplish this task, we're putting together a team that consists of building officials, structural, building, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing plan reviewers and inspectors. And we're going to have some clerical staff to support us. And we also have on standby a swimming pool design consultant in case we find the need to bring that level of expertise into this process. We've begun work. The staff has done a great job to go ahead and start to collect all the documents that we need to review. On November 27th, I myself and a member of a CAP team went out to do a cursory look at the site and to kind of get a lay of the land. We looked at the plans that we had available at that time. We met management at the building to begin discussions about coordination of this site visit. Eventually will come with the full technical team. And basically, the objective of this review is really to just assure all the interested parties that the integrity of the regulatory process, was not a contributing factor to this unfortunate event, and to restore confidence in the system that you all have in place and that we have in place to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the community. It's always a pleasure to work for the city of Dania Beach, and I'm ready for any questions.
Commissioner James?
Yes. Good evening. How long will this review take?
So right now, it's been a couple of weeks of just really gathering information. I think, given the holidays, I think we're going to start to really dig into it in the month of January. We should be able to come back in the month of February with a full report of our findings.
Another question would be, if it's been a few months or a couple of months and we still don't know the cause of the leak, will your review come before we know the findings of the cause of the leak, or is your review going to come after we know the cause of the leak, or you know the cause of the leak?
Well, so our reviews of the regulatory process to make sure that everything that went into that pool's design and construction was managed properly, and basically we have checks in every box that follow the building code in the process. So I think it's going to go in parallel. I know that there's insurance companies out there now, from what I understand, that are looking to really do the cause of origin. Our process is really to look at the regulatory process.
Okay, so we're still not going to know. I mean, even if you all do your review, there's still a possibility that we won't know what happened either time. And I guess the last question I would have is that, in your opinion, and maybe you can't give me your opinion legally, but would you think that they would fill the pool up again before we know the cause? Because that's what happened the first time. We still hadn't known what caused the leak. And we were told that they got approval to put the water back in the pool, and then when the water went back in the pool, it leaked out again. And maybe it's for a different reason, but we don't know if it's for a different reason because we don't know the first reason.
Right. So, like I said, the only thing we do know is that the structure of the pool is not the cause. So I know that when I visited the site, the pool had been, I guess what was flushed out of it, it was half full, and really the water level hadn't changed. And because the pool was not operating. So another thing you can kind of deduce from that is that the piping may not be bad either. So it may be something outside of there when the pool starts to operate and circulate, and you can start to kind of narrow those things down. But what's going to come out of here is that you can either rest assured that at least our responsibility, and I mean us collectively, is to just monitor a process and to make sure that the rules and the regulations were followed. And if we can make sure that process, the integrity of that process was observed, then that's one less thing that is not a contributing factor to the events.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brandon Marty?
Yeah. Through the mayor to the city manager, who on our staff is watching them?
Well, they are working with both our assistant city manager, and they're also working with our director of community development. So we have
Then I feel good. That's why I kept staring at you as I was trying to signal you, are you watching this? Okay, because unfortunately history did repeat itself. I thought that was only a saying in a book, but I find out that it's true. And this was a good example of it. However, there's something that's been bothering me. When water, if this was happening through the pipes of the pool, aren't there supposed to be so many feet a shutoff valve that would stop it at a certain point?
Yes, and those are the things that we will be looking into. So there's also
to those shutoffs is what you got to find out, because you could have 10 or 15 in there. but you don't know because they were supposed to stop the water after the leak started, and they failed. Because if they didn't, the water would be down on the 4th floor now, would it? Or the 1st floor, too. So please, you two, I'm watching. I got confidence in you two. I want you to watch him. Thank you.
City Manager.
Yes, Commissioner, Mayor, I know how everybody was concerned and the whole team was extremely concerned. So bringing someone like Eddie Rojas, that's a general contractor and an expert in his field, to give us an outside opinion and assessment is what we're doing to not leave any stone unturned.
It's the right thing to do, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Madam Manager.
Thank you. I don't think there's any other questions. Nope. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam
Look
Mayor.
forward to hearing from you in January.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. February.
February.
Yes.
I'm sorry. February. I tried. I believe that our item at number 4 is being postponed until January, correct? Okay. Number 4, 3.4. Next, we have acknowledgement of Melaleuca Gardens Homeowners Association for donating park benches to Parks and Recreation. Eric Brown, Director of Parks and Rec.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, City Attorney, staff. Yes, today we would like to recognize the Melaleuca Gardens Homeowners Association for their donation of 4 park benches. This is a relationship that I love having with our community because anytime we can offset a cost to bring in a partner to provide something as a park bench that actually enhance our Melaleuca Gardens Park, I embrace that. So I would like the Melaleuca Gardens that's here to come up now, and I'll read the certificate. This is a certificate of recognition presented to the Melaleuca Gardens Homeowners Association for their donation of 4 park benches to the Northside Melaleuca Gardens Park, signed this day by our mayor, Mayor Laura Llewellyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I say a few words?
Come on up, Eddie.
I would like to tell you that our...
Just state your name and address.
Oh, Betty Sokol, 609 Northwest 10th Street in Dania Beach, Melaleuca Gardens. Our homeowners was started in 2004 to help protect our neighborhood from the airport, the South Runway. It was started by Beulah Lair, Dottie Anton, and Ann Castro. And then once the runway was over, we couldn't do anything. We had money in our bank, and it was just sitting there dormant. And the bank was taking it every month. So we got together, the board, and we discussed what we should do with this money. We got the park benches, we gave some to our library, and we also gave some to the Woodhouse for that are in our neighborhood for cerebral palsy patients. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Let them take the picture then. And ladies, before you sit down, don't sit down yet.
Betty.
Hold on. Betty, turn around. Commissioner Brandon you wanted to say something.
Yeah, both of you. I want you all to know that the park benches was a wonderful thing that they did, but I want to tell you a little something. Ray Lynn is an activist in her own community, park bench or no park bench. She was so involved in trying to beat up these airplanes and the noise, you have no idea, till it became crazy. Betty Sokol there, she took over our COP program. You see those cop cars that run around your neighborhoods? That was the girl that did it for many, many years along with her husband, who is departed. But I want you to know, they don't stop at park benches.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Good job. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mayor.
Our next item is number 6, announcement of the tickets to go on sale for the 115th anniversary celebration. Vice Mayor?
All right.
Right, and there's no number 7 that was left over from the previous agenda.
Yes, we're withdrawing number 7.
But, so this will be my final presentation on this upcoming event, which I'm very excited about. And I really want to thank our city staff, Tropical Acres, and Jimmy's, who have done a tremendous job in helping me put this together for June 12th. This brunch. It really, sorry, January. I'm getting my dates wrong. But what started out as just a little idea has really blossomed into something very, very special for the city. So we're announcing tonight the website is going to be going live, and you're going to be able to purchase your tickets at DaniaBeach115.com. And we have it limited by 2 tickets per purchase, per person for the event, and there's going to be entertainment. There's obviously going to be food. There's going to be an unveiling of a historical photography project that we've been working on, and we're really excited for that. And the proceeds are going to go towards the Dania Beach Historical Society, which was just recently recognized by the state as an official entity, and that's something that I know a lot of people in the city are very excited about what we're going to be doing with that. So I encourage everyone to buy their tickets as soon as possible if you want to attend. I think there's about 150 tickets available. I anticipate it's going to sell out pretty fast. So as soon as you can, hop on there and purchase your tickets. But it's going to be a great event, and I look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, like I said, we're withdrawing number 7. So number 4, no proclamations tonight. Citizens' comments. Nancy Self. If you please come up, state your name and address, and you'll be held to about 3 minutes.
Good evening. Thank you so much. My name is Nancy Self. I live at 5531 Southwest 44th Terrace in Dania Beach. I am here tonight on behalf of myself and my neighbors, asking for your assistance and also for your support and even some suggestions. Because in our neighborhood, 20 feet away from our backyards is a proposed 6-story hotel. It's going to even have a pool on the top and also a restaurant. And we are not happy. The residents and myself are not very happy. As, like I mentioned, it's only going to be 20 foot away. It's in Hollywood, and I understand that is their zoning code. We know that there's definitely privacy issues. Many of the homes have decks and porches. We also have pools. Many of the homes have pools. We know that people in hotels like looking outside, and that's one of the first things that I do is want to see the view outside. So privacy is definitely an issue, and what about noise? 20 feet away with so many rooms, we're going to have an awful lot of noise. And our neighborhood is facing the back of the hotel. So we are going to have the noise of the garbage trucks, the supply trucks, and because this is a kosher hotel catering to people of the Jewish faith, we're also going to have noise of the parking lift on Saturdays, because I understand, I am not Jewish, but I understand that you do not drive on Saturdays, but they are expecting people to come and drive on Saturday, put their car on the parking lift, and the parking lift, we know, can be quite loud. So this is what we're dealing with. And also the lights of the cars at night. We already have the lights from the Hard Rock Hotel. Now we're also getting the lights from the Guitar Hotel. So this is an issue that has come up with our neighbors, and I'm open to any suggestions on behalf of our neighbors or any assistance that you can give the citizens of Dania Beach that are on 44th Terrace.
Ms. Self, have you or your neighbors gone to any of the Hollywood Commission meetings about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you are making them aware of your concerns as well?
Absolutely. We even had a architectural meeting with the architect in Hollywood also, the neighbors.
Okay. Commissioner James?
Yes. Where in the process are they with the hotel? Has it been approved or?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's also on the list.
Yeah, there is a proposed meeting for Thursday. The problem was that the citizens were not giving 15 days notice, which is in their ordinance. And we understand tomorrow we'll be getting notice of yes, the meeting is going to continue, or no, it's not. It's going to be pushed back later, and you'll be given the 15-day notice.
Can I ask you a question? Could you email me a list of the concerns that you all had? Because I do know the developer. I don't know him personally, but I do know him, and I did talk to your neighbor. But I would like to know a list of the concerns to see if there's anything on my end I can do to help, mediate your situation. I know that our hands are kind of tied because it's the city of Hollywood.
Right.
But we do have, certain relationships, working relationships with some of the developers, and maybe I can do what I can. I can't promise you anything.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
City Manager? Could you get in touch with the city manager of Hollywood and see if you can get some more information about where they are in the process and when meetings are being held and that sort of thing, so that we can be made aware of that, and so that if we do have some residents that don't have that information, because I know sometimes there are issues with notification, as we just heard, and especially because we're in a different city, and that whole area is obviously, there's pockets of Hollywood there, and this happens a lot. So
Certainly, I'll call them first thing in the morning.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
So I know that, this is something we get a lot, where people were bordering on with the Hollywood and people who are asking us, can we do X, Y, and Z about it? So, and the answer is, in large part, all we can do is whatever relationships we have with the other commissioners to maybe ask and get updates about projects. But I do know, is it in February? We have a workshop we're going to be holding with Hollywood. And this is definitely something that we're going to be talking to them about, not just specifically what you're talking about, but how do you best negotiate when one of their projects or one of our projects is adversely affecting neighbors in the other city when you have no jurisdiction over it? And I think continuing to nurture those relationships and have good communication, we might be able to to have better outcomes with that. So I wanted you to know that workshop is coming up, and your commission will be attending and working on that for you.
Great, wonderful. Thank you.
Commissioner Harris?
I do want to confirm also that the meeting it's planned workshop on February the 26th, and it will be at the Sterling Road Branch Library. So it'll be a properly noticed meeting. It will be a workshop. Attendance is not mandatory by both commissions, but we hope to have representatives of both cities there to just engage in discussions on multi-jurisdictional issues.
Wonderful.
Commissioner Brandon-Marty?
I must be in Never Never Land. That's all I could think of, and I'm going to tell you why. Trying to be sympathetic at the same time. I can't go to a Hollywood commission and ask them to help me. They throw me out the door. We're listening to you. But I'll tell you, I don't care what anybody says, we have no jurisdiction in Hollywood. We didn't even have jurisdiction to knock down or turn down a 14-story building in our own town. I'm being upfront, honest, and telling you like it is. And if something comes out of it, please come back and tell me I was wrong, because I need to hear that.
Okay, thank you
so
much.
And I apologize to you. I'm not being mean to you. I'm
No,
just
I
saying
understand.
that's the way. I haven't seen anything at all where we could tell another city what to do with their taxpayers' dollar. For all I know, the people in that city may like this project, and you could be the only one against it. I don't know. But I don't get involved in another city, and I really don't want them to get involved in mine, unless it's for the good of all the people in both cities. But I do sympathize with you, and I wish I could go there if they'd let me and tell them off for you. I wouldn't have
I'm
no
sure she
problem
would.
doing that. I don't care who they are. I'll bring Danny with me. I don't give a damn. But I
Sounds
would go
good.
there and tell them off. Did you listen to your people? Have you heard them, or did you turn a deaf ear on them? That's the way you got to go back and talk to them. I'm
Right.
telling you, do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Christine Musial? Please state your name and address.
This is all new to me. Christine Musial, 5414 Southwest 44th Terrace, Dania Beach, Florida. I want to thank Tamara for all the help that she's given us over the last couple of years. And Lieutenant Jason today brought a speed piece of equipment. 54th Court, which is the east end of Lucky Street's parking garage, has been a terror zone. We have had people speeding, killing animals. We have a gentleman that rides a scooter and walks his dog. He's been missed by inches by people. 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, and we're finally getting something today. So I appreciate the assistance. Also, I live on 44th Terrace. They're building, I realize, you know, we're two different cities, but on 3/4 of an acre, they're going to build a 6-story building. It doesn't have a parking garage. It will have lifts, and they will put the cars on top of each other. There's no entrance for the hotel. They have to drive through the McDonald's. A kosher restaurant has to drive through a McDonald's to get to the hotel. We have enough traffic on 441 with the Hard Rock because they didn't build a parking garage for their 660-room hotel, nor their 5,500-room concert hall. So we've had all kinds of parking down at 54th Court, which we now I think everything will be changing. But I had to come today, so just to say hello and meet everybody. I'm a resident of Florida from 1959, and I'm a retired union electrician of 40 years.
Thank you, Christine. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Marge Perry? And please state your name and address.
Marge Perry, 5521 Southwest 44th Terrace, Dania Beach. I was here in June about the kosher hotel. I was working with Corinne and just lost his name, Mark. We did meet with the builder, thanks to Mark's introduction, and the city did respond to the city of Hollywood and said if it was in our city, there would be a required 80-foot setback for the height of the building. It's 6 stories, but it's really 7 because of the pool and the restaurant on the roof. And obviously, the city of Hollywood can say, we don't care what Dania says. But in responding to the meeting we had with the builder, the city of Hollywood came back to us and CC'd Mark and Corinne and said, did the meeting, the concessions made at the meeting satisfy you? I responded and said, no, they're great if it happens, but we still don't want it to happen, and we expect the city of Dania to uphold their original objections. And I never saw a response that the city replied to that. So it's now gone, and it's been 6 months. Didn't think it was ever going to happen because nothing has ever come of it. And then I occasionally would go on the city website, City of Hollywood website, just to make sure there's nothing going on. And on Saturday, I see it on the planning board agenda for Thursday night. We weren't given the 15 days notice. I emailed the city. I emailed some of you here that I have your email address, Mark and Corinne. I called the city, and today they agreed that, they forgot to notify the people on the east side. Well, that's very convenient because the people on the east side are the only ones complaining. So they're now trying to figure out how they can fix this. They'll probably have to push it back. I know what's going to happen anyways, but I'm going to fight to the death. I'm going to have my voice heard. I'm going to make my presence known. But I would still like to see the city of Dania having responded, stand by your position that it should be 80 feet. The city, Hollywood can still say, we don't care, but I think that should have been a response back in July when the email came from Fitz to that effect.
Thank you, Marge. I think you've heard we're all going to be trying to do some things behind the scenes as far as our own relationships, so we'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marge. Linda Wilson.
Linda Wilson, President, Friends of the Dania Beach Library, 100 Park Avenue East, Dania Beach. I did want to also acknowledge Melaleuca Gardens' contribution to us for the Dania Beach programs. They gave us a check several months ago, and I'm happy to see them acknowledged for what they did with their funding, and that was really very good. I also wanted to mention about the Creative Arts Council and the advisory board. We still have some positions open on that board, and I think if the city would make an active advertisement on your website about those vacancies. We've been trying, but of course in the months that it's been November, December, it's very difficult to find people, and especially people who are interested in the arts and, you know, that type of culture issues. I also wanted to, which I'll speak on later, on the ordinance number 3 on the art in public places. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public safety reports.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. A little over a week ago, we lost a long-time Dania deputy, Matt Griffith. He's sat in the back of the room with me on numerous occasions. Please just keep his coworkers and family in your thoughts and prayers. A couple weeks ago, there was a lot of commotion right outside of City Hall. One of our deputies was patrolling the parking garage when he heard something going on outside, and he looked and he saw a group of juveniles. One of them was brandishing a firearm. He immediately went down there. The juvenile threw the firearm in a bag and dropped it. She was taken into custody. This gun that she had, it was a CO2 powered BB gun, and it resembled one of our firearms. It had H&K on the side, which is a brand of firearm. It was scary real. So she was charged with possession of a BB gun by a minor and released to a parent because she fit the criteria for the juvenile civil citation program. One of our deputies was recognized by the Chamber of Commerce for Deputy of the Year, Deputy Brittany Armstrong. Over the last year, she's made 30 DUI arrests in our city, as well as she was involved in the life-saving of the 4-year-old from the swimming pool. So she's had a busy year. Please keep in mind while you're out shopping at all of our new commercial establishments, it's the holidays, there's bad people out, they're looking for opportunities. Don't leave valuables in sight. Be aware of your surroundings, and if you notice anything suspicious, please give us a call. That concludes my report.
Anything? Thank you.
Thanks.
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, Sergio Pellicer, District Chief. Before I start, I just want to say thank you for coming over earlier and doing the pushing ceremony. It's part of the tradition that the fire department has, and it's something that we want to keep alive and well. And with tradition, teach all the younger generation that tradition does matter. So I appreciate you all being there, and I appreciate keeping the tradition strong here in Dania Beach. We did do as I reported at the last commission meeting, we ended up doing with Kimco and BrandSmart ended up doing the toy program. And one of the people that headed up the toy program is here tonight, Josh Kornblit. And he was a key person in getting this toy drive going. We collected a lot of toys. Like I said, there was one person that just came up and gave us $3,000 worth of toys in just one swoop. So it was a great event. So far, passed out through Bobby Grace and Demetra and Chicky. We got some toys out, and we're keeping all the toys local here in Dania Beach. So, and I spoke to Chief Marks earlier, and told him that I'll get him some toys for any families that he may need. So if you have any other suggestions or people you need to get toys to, I'll be happy to try to get them to them. So that'll bring me to the Chamber. Chamber honored Josh Kornblit this past week, and I want to do the same thing, but again, keeping tradition going. We've always had a Firefighter of the Year for Dania Beach. So I'll tell you the story, and it's funny because Josh actually wrote this. So on April 10th of 2019, Rescue 1 responded to a call for a 16-year-old male in cardiac arrest. Upon the arrival at their home, the 16-year-old male was found in the bathroom floor while his sister was performing CPR. The patient was moved to the living room, and CPR continued with him being defibrillated once we observed that there was a shockable rhythm, meaning that we can shock him. Rescue 1 was able to give the 16-year-old patient his life back. It was a very, very proud moment to witness. And those are Josh's own words. I took the email that he sent me and just copied and pasted, but I want to share it with you. And I could tell you this, that I've worked with Josh over the years. He was my lieutenant, he was my firefighter, and then he was my lieutenant. And he has passion for this job. And it's hard to find, sometimes the passion that, he has. The leadership that Josh provided on this call was outstanding. I witnessed him, provide this leadership on not just that one call, but many more. So Josh is one of those people who's like truly dedicated to his craft, and he's passionate and he leads by example. So this is why I'm here tonight. I want to give him an award that's called Firefighter of the Year. And we all love doing our job. That's what we get paid for. So I'm not giving him an award for doing his job. I'm giving him an award because his actions and his leadership inspired me, inspired our crew, inspired others to be, perfect, to go above and beyond. So it's not about an award for doing this job. It's an award for inspiring others. So Josh Kornblit, if you can come up here, I want to say thank you for inspiring me. If I can get everybody to get a picture. Let's get everybody up here.
Yeah, whatever you got.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is consent agenda. Do we have any polls?
7.7.
So 7.7 and 7.8 are being pulled. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 7.7 and 7.8.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
7.7 is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, authorizing an appropriation of funds relating to a change order with Tygo Inc., doing business as Expose Yourself USA, for the fabrication and installation of the city welcome sign at the southwest corner of the intersection of Griffin Road and US Highway 1 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 pertaining to associated landscaping. We're ready for conflicts, further providing for an effective date from the Community Development Department.
Yes. Mark, I have a few questions about this item. I want to know how much, because I know that we have $250,000 that are reimbursable from the county, right? From
Yes.
this project?
Yes.
Okay, you look like I said it wrong. Okay. I remember when we first started the process that we did spend some of the money before the branding and everything else with the design of the project. I want to know how much was spent before the process, and how much money, because how it's written in the backup is a little confusing for me. So I don't know how much money that we are requesting. What's the total amount? And are we over that 250?
Yeah, okay. Mark LaFerrier, Community Development Director. To sort of clarify what's in the staff report, this would be a change order for $100,000. You remember that the original plan didn't include this level of landscaping and irrigation. So in order to get that done, to get that accomplished in a timely fashion, we're asking for a change order to the sign contractor for the amount of the cost of the landscaping and irrigation. We have previously had given the sign contractor a contract for $145,000. That was the lowest bid that we got of the 3 bids that we received for the sign. Subsequently, because of the landscape design, we had to raise the base of the signs. That was another change order for $14,000. So, and then there's approximately about $5,000 worth of miscellaneous fees. There's a total of $259,500 that would be paid to this contractor for the landscaping, irrigation, permitting, and the sign fabrication installation. Prior to the contractor, the city spent a total of about $85,000. And you were correct, we previously did a design, and then we got the new logo, and we scrapped the old design and brought in a new design.
So that's the 89 plus the 259?
Correct.
So right now we're at a total of $344,000 for this project.
Pretty close to that, yeah.
Do you anticipate any more expenditures? Because this is becoming a very expensive project that we weren't anticipating on spending anything that wasn't going to be reimbursed on.
Understood. Well, if you've driven by the site recently, you'll see they demolished it, they're beginning the grading. They're anticipating that they'll get the signs installed and that they should have the landscaping done by the end of the year. So I'm hoping that everything is done by the end of the year, maybe the first week in January. I don't see any reason why there would be another change order that would come to the commission. We're at virtually the very end of the finishing this project out.
Okay, and is the $94,000, where is that coming from? Your budget, or is it coming from the reserves, general funds?
Yeah, that came from the first 75 came from reserves, but then this additional money that was needed came from my department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I make a motion to approve 7.7.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
7.8 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 18 entitled Pensions and Retirement, Article 4 entitled Policemen and Firemen, Section 18-40 entitled Benefit Amounts and Eligibility of the City Code of Ordinances relating to the Police and Firefighters Retirement System, amending the ordinance in order to be in compliance with Chapter 2019-21 Laws of Florida, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. First reading of this ordinance coming from the Police and Fire Pension Administrator. This is required under state law, is effective July 1, that if a firefighter sustains a cancer condition or a treatment, they will be presumed to have incurred that in the line of duty. And there's a payment that is required to be made.
Okay, so we just need a motion. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
To approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right. No bids and requests for proposals. Public hearings.
9.1 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, to amend Chapter 28, the Land Development Code of the City Code of Ordinances by amending Part 1 Use Regulations, Article 110 Use Regulations for Commercial and Mixed-Use Districts to provide for liquor package store as a permitted accessory use to a retail use. Amending Part 3 Special Zoning Districts, Subpart 1 Community Redevelopment Area, the CRA Form-Based Zoning Districts, to provide for liquor package store as a permitted accessory use to a retail use, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. Second reading of this ordinance, sponsored by Community Development.
Good evening. Corinne LaJoy, Planning and Zoning Manager. This is second reading of this text amendment. I made a full presentation on November 12th at first reading. And just as a refresher, this is regarding allowing package sales accessory to a grocery store. And there's with conditions. But I'm happy to make the full presentation if you have any questions. And I know the applicant's here as well.
Does anybody need a full presentation? No? Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
Move the item.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Odman?
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes.
Thank you.
9.2 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, to amend Chapter 4 Alcoholic Beverages of the City Code of Ordinances by amending Article 1 in general, Section 4-1 definitions to define single-serving container, Article 2 operation regulations, Section 4-18 hours of sale, to modify the hours of package sales for liquor, beer, and wine for off-site consumption conducted as an accessory use to a retail grocery store use with a minimum 27,500 square feet. And Article 2 operation regulations to create Section 4-37 restriction on the sale of single-serving containers and providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date, second reading of the ordinance.
Good evening. Corinne LaJoy, Planning and Zoning Manager. The same for this one. This is second reading. First reading and presentation was made on November 12th. And just as a refresher, this text amendment is to allow extended hours of liquor sales on Sundays in the accessory liquor sales, only when they're accessory to the grocery store, only at those locations. I'm available, as is the applicant.
Anyone need another presentation? No. It's a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
I make a motion to approve 9.2.
Second.
Please call the roll.
This is a motion to adopt the ordinance. Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Odman?
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes.
Thank you.
9.3, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, to amend Chapter 28 of the Land Development Code of the City Code of Ordinances by amending Part 8 Technical Appendix by creating and establishing Article 811 Public Art Program, including public art program requirements for new development and redevelopment in non-residential mixed-use and multifamily zoning districts, providing for general provisions for public art program organization, operation, and implementation, providing for a public art fee for the creation, acquisition, and installation of public art in the city, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for inclusion in the code, and further providing for an effective date, second reading of this ordinance.
Good evening. Corinne LaJoy, Planning and Zoning Manager. This application is also a text amendment, second reading. First reading was November 12th. But one thing I do want to bring to your attention, there was one change that was made after the discussion on the 12th, and that we changed the effective date of the ordinance. So now we have a 60-day provision for applications, completed applications of building permits to be submitted 60 days after the adoption of this ordinance. So there'll be that grace period, so it won't kick in until after those 60 days.
That's what I was going to ask you. Commissioner James.
Yes. When the first discussion that we had about this, I had a lot of concerns, and I was told from up here that, we'll talk about it, we'll make some changes. The ordinance is the exact same, other than the effective date. I mean, from the parts the concerns I had, not with the advisory board containing some people from staff, some people maybe from CRA and city staff, and to have one collective board. Do you remember that conversation that we had?
Yes, and actually we went through the recording to make sure that we were addressing all your concerns, and we thought about that, and I know that Mark wants to address that.
Okay, because I went by line, and it's the same.
Yeah. again, Mark LaFerrier, Community Development. Yeah, you're correct, Commissioner. We didn't make a change because we really didn't have a complete discussion with the Commission on how they would want to constitute a committee or a board like that. But we wanted to bring this ordinance forward. So with the Commission's acceptance, then we've got some alternate language we could propose tonight that would give the Commission the opportunity to kind of decide what that committee might be in the future.
But it doesn't speak in the ordinance anything about that discussion at all. And if that was going to be a discussion, I am really confused, as if I didn't say anything, there would have been a vote. And none of this would have even been spoken about. But if it was something that was intended to get further direction, I don't know why. Number one, it's not under discussion, and no one reached out to, at least didn't reach out to me, as far as to say, you know, are these changes, or what changes were you seeking? I really would like to sit down with staff, as well as whoever else has had a chance to sit down with staff and kind of, you know, go through what my thoughts are on this. I don't want to just approve something and say make an amendment on the way back. Not when I'm not comfortable with how everything is now.
I completely understand, Commissioner. And of course, I'll be happy to sit down with you and go over the ordinance and how it could be applied and implemented. But one of the things that we talked about, because we didn't have a full discussion on what type of committee it would be, who would constitute the committee, and how it would be appointed and things like that, that's something that would take a lot of time to kind of finalize if through a discussion. One of the ways that we thought that this could also be handled is by just amending this ordinance tonight with a motion. For example, on page 5, Public Art Program Guidelines, that's the first mention besides the definition of the Community Arts, or not Community Arts, but the Creative Arts Community Advisory Board. After that, you could say by the City Commission and recommended by the CACB or other body as appointed and approved by the City Commission, because there really won't be any action on the funds collected from this new ordinance for probably a period of time. The way the ordinance is drafted is that before the funds are expended, there would need to be a plan that's prepared. That committee that we're talking about now would make their recommendation, much like the Planning and Zoning Board does, to the City Commission on planning and zoning items. You would adopt, revise, amend, deny, change, and then you would actually implement it. So that board would only be used for the preparation of that plan. It's anticipated that plan wouldn't be prepared by the board members or by staff. There would need to be a consultant to do that. So the way that your concern could be handled with the motion tonight would be to add language inserted into the ordinance every place it mentions CACAB, or we would add or other body as appointed and approved by the City Commission. And then that's something that you could work out in the upcoming months. And then from that, you get a consultant on board. They'd prepare the plan, and then that committee that you wanted to select and appoint would be the ones that would work on that with the consultant.
Okay, I see that might be a solution, but again, this is a total disregard from a conversation that we had. Like, if I had never said anything, it would have been voted, approved, and gone to the next thing. So say it one more time, what the amendment would be, because I know that, especially right now, the CAC is going through a transition. They didn't have a quorum last time. I've been to many of the CAC meetings, and I do know that they have great ideas, and that they have the power, you know, to collectively do things on their own. I just want to make sure that all of the city staff, and not necessarily anyone that's sitting up here, is a part of the process as well. So what would it say again?
Understood. I mean, and that's a good comment. In the ordinance where it mentions CACB, we'd ask that the commission include a motion that says behind that, and, excuse me, let me get to that page, or other body as appointed and approved by the City Commission. So let me just read the example. Public Art Program Guidelines, that's on page 5, shall mean a set of standards, criteria, and policies related to the acquisition of public art as defined in the Public Art Master Plan, and which shall be adopted by the City Commission and recommended by the CACB, and this would be the new language, or other body as appointed and approved by the City Commission and amended from time to time. They're talking about the plan in that instance. And then there's about 4 or 5 other examples where that CACB is mentioned. We'd asked if the commission would like to make it a permissive statement that they add the language "or other body as appointed and approved by the City Commission." And I'm hoping that that takes care of your concern. I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Harris?
I think at the last time we mentioned, in regards to the development community, if we could, announce that this ordinance is coming, and we said 60 days from the effective date, but I want to see if we can back that up to 90 days from the effective date, which puts it at basically March 31st. Is that a, no?
I'm in.
Go ahead.
We've talked extensively with the development community, yes, and they are, during this process, I've been working on this, and they're aware. I'm not in the business of negotiating with developers, but I did feel it was prudent to let them know, and to answer their questions. And I know that city staff did as well. Mark, I know that you spoke with the development community, and they felt this was a very fair ordinance. But we definitely felt that there was a responsibility to make sure that there was some buy-in from that community and that they felt comfortable with the ordinance as well.
So they're all aware too that it's coming, and they can get their permits and all that in before the ordinance take effect, if they can?
Sure. I mean,
Okay,
that's not my focus is I want to, I want to build this fund. I'm not, pretending anything other than that. But if they are able to get all their things in within the 60 days, more power to them.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, did you have something else?
I just wanted to clarify that my understanding was correct. So this committee, whether it was the Creative Arts Board or, and I agree with Commissioner James that it's probably best to put the newer language that you just suggested in. So regardless of whatever it was, they will be acting in the capacity of specifically what will they be tasked to do?
They will be, according to the ordinance, only working with the consultant and the staff on the preparation of a plan that would come forward to the City Commission for
So they will work with the
adoption.
consultant, or they will receive the document that the consultant puts together? Because that's two very different things. And to again speak to the commissioner's concern that she brought up, the CAC is going through a transition, and I don't want to stall this process, because of lack of quorums, or if the fit isn't good. We just had Linda up here talking about, please make sure you bring in high quality members and who are involved in the arts community. So
I think I may have spoken broadly when I said they'll work with the consultant.
Okay.
What I meant was that, as I said earlier, it's sort of in the fashion that the Planning and Zoning Board works with an applicant or works with staff on a plan. So the consultant would bring the ideas and the concepts to this committee, and then they would hold public meetings so the public could also speak and be involved.
So they will be just giving their opinion, is that correct and factual?
Yeah.
Okay. So this committee, whether it's the CAC or whatever committee, will just be giving their opinion as serving as an advisor.
And holding public meetings so there's an opportunity for the public to be involved.
Okay, thank you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against? Come up. Please state your name and address.
Linda Wilson, President, Friends of the Dania Beach Library, and a voting member of the CACAB. I'm here speaking only for myself as the member of the CACAB. For years, going back to Bo Donnelly and the beginnings with Henriette Arnold, we have asked for this type of a fee to be charged to developers. It has fallen on deaf ears in the past, and thankfully, it now is going to become a reality. I'm really disappointed at the 60-day delay, because as quickly as all these developments are coming on board, you are going to be losing the ability of getting them to be a partner in this. And I really think that that's something you should, as you said, they'll all be rushing in to get their plans and skipping through this particular ordinance. I'd like to say that the CACAB, yes, we have had some transition lately, and it's been with the two commission-appointed people who have stepped down from their places on it, and it's created a very bad hardship for us. We have been a very effective and active board, always having a quorum, and this has been a real disappointment to us. One thing I wanted to say about the purpose of the CACAB, and if you go back to look at how we were created, we are not consulted on many, many projects, including the signage and, you know, that type of thing. We should be. Crosswalks, you know, things that you want to do. We should be involved in that. That's why we're there. We have artists and we have specialists and we have people who come to us who are well-known and experienced. And this is something we should be involved. We shouldn't be the end-all, you know, appointment of anything, but we would like to be included in this. We are, in fact, the Creative Arts Council, and we're an advisory board to you. But if we don't get a chance to advise you, what are we there for? You know, should we be sunset? I mean, if you don't have the confidence in us as a board, then I would say we shouldn't be here. But I think we contribute a lot. This Art in the Hall never would have happened without the CACAB. Okay? We had a very minor thing of the Art in the Hall with Bo and Henriette, and it became a really great and effective thing for the gallery. So I want you to appreciate what it is that we have done, how much work we put into this. I just want to point out one little thing, and you can beat me up on this. The wall by the elevator, where the Dania Beach sign is, that is one of our primary monthly spots for artists, a featured artist. Since October, it's been hay bales, and now it's a Christmas tree and a tiny little menorah that, I'm sorry, I really, that's like doesn't exist. And nothing for Kwanzaa. So if you plan to do that and you want to do this every month, then let us know. We have to rearrange our floor plan now completely because we had no idea that that was going on. This month, because you all are going to be on the boat parade, we're going to be here having a special children's program, a children's art program, exhibition, and musical and choral presentation. And you know, it's like we're not involved and we're not allowed to know about a lot of these things. We really would like to be included in some of the notifications so that we're not blindsided. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner James?
Yes, Linda. I don't want you to take it personal as a board, number one, about the decorations or any of that. There is none of all of us that sit up here and say, okay, this is what we're going to do this month, or this is what we're going to do next month. I think that's city staff and whoever has been involved has done a great job in the holiday decorations, especially inside from one year to the next. So it wasn't anything that, you know, we decided not to tell one versus the next. You know how I saw it when I came to work one day. I mean, certain things don't require our approval. They're just enhancements that we kind of come and we kind of see. And I did speak with the city manager about having something for Kwanzaa, and she wanted to put something in there. And I told her, if we're going to do it, we need to do it right. It needs to be planned. And I didn't want to just, you know, stick something there just to say we included Kwanzaa. So if you don't see something for Kwanzaa, blame me, you know. Blame me. I just didn't want a sticker or something small or something that we haven't budgeted correctly for to be there. That's number one. Number two, about the CAC board, you know, I was regular at many of your meetings for a while, and there's always been a, you know, discrepancy on what we feel versus what you all feel. You all are very passionate about your position, and we're very thankful as a board to what you all contribute. You know, spending time with you all, I brought a lot of the projects to you and from you that you all already had worked on, but for budgetary reasons, they were not able to be funded like we thought they were going to be. I think that I don't want the board to take things personally when you aren't consulted on every single thing, because that's really not realistic for us. Some things are really easier for, when we decide things to just go ahead and do it. Other things are community projects that we're going to want you all to be involved. I can only speak for me. I can't speak for the rest of the board up here. Yeah, I can't speak for the rest of the board, but I know that we don't look at a project and say, oh, we're not going to the CAC with this, we're going to do it ourselves. Sometimes it happens like that, and then I think that sometimes it creates a relationships where you think that we think you're not important. But that's absolutely not the case. And you all have been a very active board with limited funding. None of our boards are funded, though. And I know you all have a very important job to do. So I look forward to working with members of the CAC, with other members of our city to ensure that, we have the creative mindset and we also have the ability at the staffing level to be able to carry out these projects.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Come on up. On this issue, please state your name and address.
Everybody wait for me now. Thank you so much again for being here.
Name and
I
address.
really appreciate this meeting. Sorry I was a little running late. Had little events. Again, as I was listening to Linda and listening to the board and everybody speaking about this, it's one more time I must push
George.
First Avenue.
George, we need your name and address.
George Palacios, 218 Northwest First Avenue.
Thank you.
33004. In case nobody got the zip code. First Avenue, Northwest First Avenue. Again, the key entrance to the new Dania. Once again, there's not enough work being done with Linda. There's not enough work done with the artist. We're ignoring that avenue. We're ignoring the right way of the new entrance of arts, promotion, business, commercial. That is the biggest little outlet we have to make this look like a real artist community. I'm working on 2 properties, mine and the warehouse which I rent, 205, trying to clean it up and make it a new art studio. I really wish that everybody would work and concentrate on that avenue. That is the avenue where we're going to bring everybody into downtown.
So you'd be in favor of an art in public places?
I am totally in favor. I'm totally in favor of anything that the city does. I work with everybody. Whatever it is, right or wrong, we'll always make it right.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak for or against? I just have a quick question before we vote. I know the explanation about the 60 days and all of that. I just want to clarify. Is that what we've done with other ordinances in the past? Is it always 60 days? City manager, do you know?
I do believe that's something that's very similar to what we did with the straw ordinance. That one may have been somewhere between 60 and 90 days as well, right?
Okay.
Something very similar, yes. And with the lobbyists as well.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're being consistent. I don't want to.
Mr. Clerk? We have been consistent?
Okay. Okay.
Motion to approve the, I'm sorry, my computer just
9.3.
5.3, 9.3, with the amended language that Mark spoke of, that Bavaria spoke of.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Brandemart.
Yes.
Commissioner Harris.
Yes.
Commissioner James.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Odman.
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn.
Yes.
Thank
you. Item 4, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida to amend Chapter 28 of the Land Development Code of the City Code of Ordinances by amending Part 1 Use Regulations, Article 110, Use Regulations for Commercial and Mixed-Use Districts, Section 110-20, List of Permitted, Special Exception, and Prohibited Uses to amend the Schedule of Permitted Uses, creating Section 110-320, Mobile Food Vending Conditions of Use. Article 115, Industrial Districts, Permitted, Prohibited, Special Exception Uses and Conditions of Use. Section 115-40, Schedule of Permitted Uses to amend the Schedule of Permitted Uses, amending Part 3, Special Zoning Districts, Subpart 1, Community Redevelopment Area, CRAs, Form-Based Zoning Districts, Article 302, Detailed Use Regulations, Section 302-10, Permitted, Special Exception, and Prohibited Uses to amend the Schedule of Permitted Uses, amending Part 6, Development Review Procedures and Requirements, Article 675, temporary use and special event permits to provide for mobile food vendor events, and further amending Part 7, Code Administration, Article 725, definitions, Section 72530, terms defined to provide for mobile food vendors, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date. Second reading of this ordinance.
Corinne LaJoy, Planning and Zoning Manager. This is second reading of this ordinance, and this is to establish the food truck use as a permitted use. I can go through the presentation if you'd like to do so.
Does anybody need a presentation?
For questions as well.
No. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
Move the item.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Odman?
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 5, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the request made by Leigh Robinson Carr on behalf of BEJL 4200 Real Estate LLC to amend Chapter 28 of the Land Development Code of the City Code of Ordinances, amending Part 2 Site Development Regulations, Article 205, Tabular Summary of Site Development Standards for all zoning districts, Section 205-10B, PRD-1, and Multiple Family Districts, TEX 15519, to amend the maximum allowed density in the multiple family 10 dwelling units per acre residential district RM2, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. First reading of this ordinance.
Good evening, Corinne LaJoy, Planning and Zoning Manager. This is a text amendment to the land development regulations regarding our RM2 zoning designation. The applicant is requesting to amend the RM2 zoning district. They are doing so by adding a footnote to allow additional density above the 25 dwelling units per acre to be assigned to a project on a per project basis as determined by the City Commission. And this additional density will be allocated from available flex of reserve units and be consistent with the future land use map change. The assignment of the additional units would be on a per project basis depending on the availability of the flex or reserve units. The action before you tonight is a text amendment, requires 2 readings. This is first reading. The Planning and Zoning Board heard this item November 21st and recommended approval of the item, and staff's recommending approval on first reading. Are there any questions of staff? I'm sorry, the applicant also is available for questions as well.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against? Do we have a motion?
Move the item.
Second.
Please call the roll. Lauren. Please call them. Sorry, Vice Mayor.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Odman?
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes.
Thank you.
The next 2 items are quasi-judicial items. Anybody who's going to address the commission, including city staff, on the Dania Live 1748 site plan and alternate parking, and the Project USA symbol development, other than lawyers, needs to be sworn in briefly. Anybody who's going to speak, if you might speak. Not lawyers. No lawyers. Oh, okay. Probably for you, yes, Dennis. So we're from the testimony you'll be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thanks very much. First is item 6, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the site plan and alternate parking standard SP 15119 submitted by Dania Live 1748 LLC for the property generally located on the north side of Sterling Road between Bryan Road and Interstate 95 within the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, a copy of which is attached to this resolution. Ready for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. And I think it's the, is that the first reading? Doesn't say.
It's only, it's a site plan. This
Site
is the
plan.
one and only.
Okay.
Yes. So this is a site plan. This is for
No
the
resolution.
Yes, this is for the site plan for the new Spirit Airlines headquarters in Dania Point in Phase 2. As we all know, Dania Point has the planned mixed-use zoning designation, and they're located in the Regional Activity Center. The applicant is requesting the site plan approval for the new headquarters, office, and training facility for the Spirit Airline. The subject property is located on the north end of Dania Point in Phase 2 and on the west side of Bryan Road. This is the location of that site. The The applicant is requesting the site plan approval for the construction of a 500,000 square foot corporate headquarter office, training facility, and parking garage for the facility. The site itself, the land area, is approximately 8 3/4 acres in size. The applicant has indicated that the project would be constructed in 2 phases. Each phase will stand on its own, providing required parking for each of the phases as it's built. Staff was also encouraged the applicant to contact adjacent residents surrounding the area prior to the public hearing. This is what the site plan itself looks like. You can see the building itself is going to be on the east side of the site. Bryan Road is to the extreme east. So this is the building, and the parking garage will be to the west side of that structure. This is a rendering of the facade of the building and the entrance. The land development code requires fencing, screening during construction with construction fence with screening regarding the project and some applicable information and contact information at that time. One of the things that the applicant is proposing with this application is to include the city logo on that screening, that construction fence. The ordinance requires them to come before you and ask permission to use the city logo. So that's included in the request tonight, is the ability for them to use the city seal. In addition, they are also proposing an alternative parking for the project, and in doing so, Kimberly Horn prepared the alternative parking supply determination, which identified the need for 1,667 parking spaces, which is less than what the Land Development Code, or in this case, the DDGs requires, which would be 2,000 parking spaces. And what they found is the discrepancy largely comes into the area dedicated for the training and the large sims that they use. The large equipment takes up so much space, requires less parking for that area, which is why they came up with a lower number. The commission may approve an alternative parking standard as part of the site plan, and they're asking you to do that this evening. They're actually proposing to provide more than what their study found. They're proposing to provide 1,876 parking spaces. The project did go through the Development Review Committee in October, and the DRC staff reviewed and commented on the items on the project. There are, I think, only 2 outstanding comments at this point that the applicant is aware of. I think in one of them, I recall, is payment that would have to come, at time of permitting anyway. So those would have already been included in the resolution. If it's approved this evening, there'll be conditions of approval. And at this point, staff's recommending approval of the resolution for the site plan with the outstanding development review comments, as well as permission to use the city seal on the construction fencing during construction. And the applicant's here to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioner James?
Yes. Corinne, is it typical that they use the city seal or the city logo on the construction fencing?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I may have misspoke. I get them confused. So it's probably the logo that they're
Okay,
proposing.
I want to be sure because it's more. Okay, that's one. And number 2, when the logo usually comes, I don't know how the last ones are done. Do you all give them the guidelines of the brand standards?
The artwork?
Or does the artwork come back to you all to be approved?
No, we usually give it to them.
Okay, you give it to them. Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's fine.
Commissioner Harris?
That was my question.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
Good evening, Dennis Mealy, 200 East Broward Boulevard, on behalf of the applicant. Normally I wouldn't get up, but I want to say how excited we are that Spirit is moving its headquarters to Dania Beach. We want to thank you, your city administration, for the economic development help you gave us. And I also want to say when we first came in with the site plan and we met with Mark and Corinne, they said, we will get you on the December 10th agenda, and that's really what we needed. So thank you very, very much.
Anyone else here to speak for or against?
I make a motion to approve 9.7.
Second.
9.7, 9.6.
9.6, I'm sorry, and I went along.
Second. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Odman?
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn.
Very enthusiastic, yes.
Item 7, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the Development Design Guidelines, the DDGs, and Site Plan SP 10619, submitted by Stephanie J. Toothaker, Esquire, PA, on behalf of Project USA LLC and Simbal Development for property generally located on the north side of Sterling Road and east of Bryan Road, within the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, a copy of which is attached to this resolution, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
Good evening, Corinne LaJoy, Planning and Zoning Manager. This application is for site plan approval for the property at 150 South Bryan Road. It's actually site plan approval and approval of the development design guidelines for the project as well. This project is zoned planned small lot mixed use development. It's located in the Regional Activity Center. The subject property is located at the northeast corner of Bryan Road and Sterling Road. The property has been vacant for several years and is currently vacant today. The site itself is approximately 2.5 acres in size. It has quite a lot of street frontage on Bryan Road, about 589 linear feet of street frontage, with only 76 linear feet of street frontage on Sterling Road. So it's a very narrow, long site. And you can see from the aerial photo what that property looks like. The newly created PMUDSL regulations requires that the applicant submit development design guidelines at time of the site plan submittal. The development design guidelines establishes the development regulations for the project. So that's something that you'll be approving tonight as well. This is a similar process to the PMUD zoning regulations that the Dania Point was developed with. The proposed DDGs, the applicant identifies development regulations for the project, including permitted uses, lot coverage, building placement or setbacks, height, parking standards, lighting, minimum unit size, and architectural standards. Where the DDGs are silent, it can't be inclusive of everything. We would fall back to the city's land development regulations to regulate. The site plan itself, the applicant was requesting site plan approval for the construction of an 8-story 302 residential dwelling units. As I said before, the site is approximately 2.5 acres. No signage is being proposed with the site plan at this time, and staff encouraged the applicant to contact neighbors adjacent to the site prior to the public hearing. We've received no information about this, but I will say that prior to the rezoning of the site, there was some community outreach at that time that occurred, and that just happened a month or two ago earlier. There's some outstanding conditions that I'll talk about as we get into the development design guidelines, and some of that includes review by the city engineer of the project as well. This is the site plan, and you can see it's a very linear site. There are residential units on the ground floor and some community recreational facilities to the east of the site, which is where the waterway is. This is a rendering of what that site will look like. This is if you're standing or kind of sitting in your car in the middle of Sterling Road at that intersection. The project did go through the Development Review Committee in June and again in October. The applicant has several outstanding staff comments that must be addressed prior to the issuance of the permit. They're aware of those. They're identified in your staff report and in the resolution. Should that resolution be approved, there'll be conditions of the approval. Some history on the site itself. In 2013, the property was added to the Dania Beach Design District. This precluded, or this was before Dania Point was even kind of a thought. And then in October of 2014, the commission did approve a site plan on the site for a 20,000 square foot boat sales and repair facility. That property has since sold or is in the process of being sold to the applicant today. And in October of this year, just a month ago, is when the rezoning to the PMUDSL went through on this project. At this point, staff's recommending approval of the resolution for the development design guidelines and the site plan, provided those outstanding DRC comments are made conditions of the approval prior to the issuance of the permit. And I'm available for questions, and the applicant is here as well.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
Are you speaking?
Yes, if I could. Okay. Thank you very much. Stephanie Toothaker on behalf of the developer, Aussie Symbol. I just wanted to just say a quick thank you to Mark and Corinne and to this commission. We've been before you many times on this project. You've guided us through this project, and I know you're very familiar with it. I did have just two quick clarification points. In the conditions of approval, item 27 and 28 have to do with the South Florida Water Management District, and I would just ask that we just add some language that says we will make our best efforts to get those things from SFWMD. There are things that are outside our control, and I just don't want to have to come back to you if I'm not able to get something from South Florida Water Management District. They're asking for easements on the property that from South Florida Water Management District that we believe that we will be able to get, but at this time I just can't say that definitively, and I would just ask to add some language that gives a little bit of flexibility, and other that we agree with all of the staff conditions.
Is that something that can be done? That's what I was going to ask.
Corinne?
To Corinne.
Corinne, is that something that we can add to say that shall use their best efforts? Oh.
Mark, are you giving it your blessing, or are you coming up here to
Yeah, they're looking. Just.
Sorry about that. Steph, why don't you go ahead? The language is. Go ahead.
So other than that, we're happy to answer any questions. If Mark and Corinne are okay with that, that's the only just slight clarification that we're asking for.
Mark, are you okay with it?
Yeah, Mark LaFerrier, Community Development. 27 speaks to an approval letter from the Water Management District about any kind of permitting that goes on that would have their authority. So that requirement to get that it would be implemented if they get approval from the Water Management District is fine. The next one is identifying the site plan of pedestrian crossing easement along the east side of the property connecting to the properties to the north. That may not be able to be accomplished at the very south end because the property gets very narrow, it gets a little thicker at the north end, so it could happen there. So that's going to need to be approved by the Water Management District also. So Ms. Toothaker's comments, I think, would be appropriate and well accepted in this case, in both cases.
Okay. Well, I make a motion then, as amended, from Ms. Stephanie Toothaker.
Before you do that, I'm sorry. I just want to check one more time
Okay,
to make sure
go
there
ahead.
isn't. Is there anybody? This is a public hearing, and we did already say, is there anybody here to speak for or against? But after those comments, is there anybody here to speak for or against? No. Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve 9.7 as amended up here.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Odman?
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. No discussion and possible action tonight. So commission comments. Commissioner Brandemarty.
Yeah, just a couple of them. I would like to speak regarding the art that's in our atrium out there. It's beautiful. There's a little thing, though, I'd like to address, and that is the prices of it. I came in twice, and I saw prices that don't fit in this city at all, like $65,000. And prices that are up. There's a sheet out there that will tell you $35,000. So really, you know what I'm asking? Can there be a poor wall? No, I'm serious. Where prices are within the reach of the residents here, considering the fact that I don't think any of that art out there is by any of our artists in the CAC. Am I right? A lot of it is artists way out of Dania Beach. They don't have to rent it. They got a beautiful, beautiful gallery right there that they can make their presentation in. I don't even know if they sell any. I'd like to have the stats on that as far as art that's being sold out there. And I'm just telling you, bring the prices within the reach of what you're looking at. I'm very serious on this because I was taken back by those prices out there. Very taken back. So that's the first thing. I mean, we're giving them the gallery free. I don't know if we make any money on that art, and those people are not even our artists in our city. So that's just my personal feelings on that. And also, I heard residents bring that to me, so I just wanted to do that. Who clapped? George, thank you. Because I mean what I'm saying, George. Put somebody's name out there that we can say, God bless it, Henriette Arnold's art soul. It's not that way, and it's not being done that way, and I think we should take another look at the prices, really. Maybe it's me, I don't know, but I'm just telling you, I wouldn't be able to buy any of those. Now I got a good thing to tell you. For the last 2 days, have any of you watched a channel on TV called Lifetime? It's very popular. Well, I have a nice surprise for you. They've been filming for 2 days in the city of Dania Beach, but none of you really know about it. But they have been. And in about 2 weeks, I'll be able to give the viewing dates that you'll be able to watch about Dania Beach and something wonderful on your own TV. And as soon as I get the dates, I'm going to call our city manager and give them to her. How she would get it out to the public, I have no idea. But it's going to, they filmed it already at Gangrels, but it's not about Gangrels, believe it or not. It's about something that will touch the hearts of people that were in the service, okay? So when I get the dates, I'll give it to you. All right, that's all I have to say. Nothing else except have happy holidays in any area of what they are that you belong to. Because I know if I say this and that, I'm going to miss this one and that one. So I'll just say in all areas of religion or non-religion, you know, happy holidays. That's it. And by the way, I am so for this kosher hotel. Because I love kosher food. So that's it. Thank you.
Commissioner Harris.
Do.
Okay, like I said earlier, we do have confirmation for the joint workshop between Dania Beach and Hollywood on February the 26th at the library on Sterling Road. So just everybody knows, and we'll continue to put that out there until the time comes. We won't have a specific agenda because it is a workshop, but as we get closer, we may have an agenda. So you ladies that spoke up earlier, there's an opportunity for you to... well, you have to think positive. You have to think positive. So the other thing that came out from the county, which I mentioned yesterday, that there's a sea level rise initiative program by the county that's going to require the county and residents that live anywhere on the waterways to raise their seawalls by 4 feet by 2030, I believe it is, which is only 10 years away. And the cost is estimated right now at $1,000 a foot on that program, so something to be aware of. We're planning a trip for Broward Days to go to a lobby in Tallahassee for some of our needs, including public financing and construction, local government and public works, of course, the short-term rental issues, environmental regulations, assisted living facilities, identification of underground facilities, growth management, homelessness. That's from the book agency that's representing that. Even there's a movement out there to prohibit the sale of certain kinds of sunscreen because the chemicals in sunscreen damage the coral reefs. True. And also HB 1128, which is the regulation of the short-term rental, which is dictated by the state, and also carrying of firearms, acquisition of water and wastewater systems. It's a whole, I mean, we're going to be very busy up there with Broward Days and the League of Cities, so anybody that wants to come along, it is open to the public if you'd like to choose to register with browarddays.com or with the Broward League of Cities. I want to thank everybody for their help in distributing all kinds of food for Thanksgiving. We had food in many directions, and I think if we took account on the number of people that were served, I think at St. Maurice, I know we served 268 people for lunch, and that was a really nice experience to go there on Thanksgiving Day at noon and serve everyone. As far as to Linda Wilson, about the 14th of December, that's a busy night all over South Florida. The Candy Cane Parade in Hollywood, the Winterfest, our event here. What's that? I don't don't think so. Oh, well, it's the last Saturday, well, second to the last Saturday before Christmas, so it's just a busy night. So we tried to get them to change that day on the Dania After Dark, but we were not successful. So on top of that, just thank everybody, all the staff. Thanks everybody for staying late tonight. And happy holidays, no matter what your holiday is. I hope it's a good one.
Commissioner James?
Yes. Commissioner Brandon Marty, maybe you can start a local art wall out there. That could be one of the things you kind of leave, because it is true. I don't even look at the paintings. I know the paintings are beautiful. I don't look at the price of the paintings. I just look at if it's number 1 or number 74. You know, that's about it. So maybe that's something you could think about doing. The Tamara James Foundation hosted our 14th annual Thanksgiving drive here in the city of Dania Beach, and it was an overwhelmingly amazing experience, as it has been growing. We started from serving 10 families to having over 600 turkeys to give out on the 26th. And on top of that, we had thousands of canned goods, produce. The line from the patch was wrapped around the next street. I would like to thank BSO in their efforts at their Thanksgiving, and also coming out and not just standing there, but they were sweating. They were out there working. I would like to thank the CRA for helping us plan this event. And I would like to thank city staff who came out and helped give out turkeys and help serve the residents as well. All of the local businesses who helped, Publix and Walmarts, the mom and pop businesses that don't get a lot of the recognition, they really stepped in and helped us give out over $17,000 of food to the community, and the need is great. You find people that really just need a helping hand, and it's not just about giving a turkey. You have people that, you know, don't know where their next check is coming from, and this is something where it is open to any and everyone, regardless of what city you are in, regardless of what social status you are in. And so I'd like to thank everyone who was a part of that, big and small, because it truly, truly made a difference, and I look forward to it being bigger and better next year. Rabbi Eckstein, he called me about a month ago about having something for Hanukkah, and I wasn't able to attend the initial meeting. The city manager held that meeting in my absence, and they have ran with this event, and I think it is the start of something great to not just have a holiday lighting. I know that I think the CRA put a menorah up outside, but to actually have a ceremony with the tree and the menorah and with Kwanzaa, and you know, so no one is left behind, because there are so many different faiths and religions, but I hope we're all serving one God. And I just think that could be a blending and a bonding of different communities who don't typically come here to City Hall, don't typically, you know, engage with each other here. And it's an experience that other cultures will be able to experience. What else? Oh, my son won their football Super Bowl championship, and I'm so proud of him. He currently has the flu, but they're 7 and under, won the Super Bowl, and even though it was with the Hollywood PAL, we have almost half of the team that's here from the city of Dania Beach, and so I will be recognizing them and bringing them here. I think it is an amazing accomplishment for our young kids. And, you know, the PAL is something that I wanted to bring to the city of Dania Beach, but it's a little costly for us to have a Dania Beach PAL, but it's something that I do look for with everything else that's coming in. Maybe some financials could come towards that. Other than that, I wish you all very happy holidays, and I'm praying for those who are spending the holidays without the ones they love the most, because the holidays can be so rough on them. So have a good night.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. This past week we had, you know what? I said I would give Chicky a minute of my time, so go ahead, Chicky.
Yeah, just 1 minute, okay? I forgot. This man, I got to talk just real fast about him. Mark, you got to listen to this. I met a man today by the name of Humberto Lopez. He's a financial advisor with JP Morgan, and he's in the Chase Bank in Hollywood. He says, I want to tell you how much I love your city and how much I love the man that is in charge of permits. I said, we don't have anybody. He said, oh, yes, his name is Mark. I said, I know, joking. This man bought a house, and he wrote it out for me on 35th Southwest 6th Street. He wanted me to mention this to you. This house that needed to be renovated, he poured $200,000, Mark, am I right, Candida, into this home. And he said people are driving by, stopping and telling him what a difference it's made even on their street, that it's bringing their property values up. And he would love for you, Mark, to stop by. He said you were very helpful in the permit department. Mr. Humberto Lopez, he's wonderful. Okay, 35 Southwest 6th Street. If anybody wants to ride by and see this spectacular house.
Let's go after the meeting.
Yeah, go ahead.
The tree lighting ceremony this past week was really fantastic. I see a lot of faces here that attended. I know that last year I traumatized Eric Brown because I said I didn't love the tree. And I didn't. I didn't love it. You could see through it. It was a sad tree. But this year's tree was very happy, and I gave him a big hug, and I hope he knows I mean it, that he met and exceeded all of my expectations. And along with Eric, the entire Parks and Rec department and our Public Works department, all these tchotchkes that you see on the poles, and the decorations outside, that is all they're doing, and they worked really hard on it, and it looks quite nice, and I was really pleased with their work that they did. And I want to mention, if you're not a member of the tribe, coming to a menorah lighting, so you know what I'm about to say, is really, it's a special thing. It's very nice, and you don't have to be Jewish to enjoy it. The prayers are really nice. If you have not had a latke in your life, this is a moment for you, and you need to show up for that moment. And you need to taste these latkes, and you need to decide, are you a sour cream person or are you an applesauce person? I see two people. I see a couple people in the room know what's going on right now. And the dancing, maybe there'll be a hora, who knows? But just come, it's going to be fantastic. And for me as a member of the tribe, it's very exciting, and I'm just pleased as punch about the whole thing. And lastly, I was not kidding about getting your tickets. I'm live tracking the tickets, and a dozen already are gone. So don't wait. Don't wait and then be sad that you didn't get a ticket to the greatest party of the year. That's it. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. All that jazz. Thank you.
Hi. Just a few things. Some things have already been touched on as well, and I'm just going to touch on them as well. St. Maurice Resurrection Church, the Thanksgiving Day was phenomenal. And there should be a shout out to Nancy Anzalone in particular, who she and her team, 24 hours of cooking, is that correct, Charlotte? Yes, it is. To feed 268 people. And I mean, people came from all over the city, and some from outside the city too, I believe. And it was just a really nice team effort, and seeing there were plenty of people there to serve. There were plenty of people serving, and just the food was fantastic. And I think there were even some leftovers that I believe went to a shelter or something. Yes? No? Yes. Okay. But anyway, so it was just it was a wonderful event, and it made a lot of people very happy, and it was nice to see communities coming together. Oh, and there's going to be another one Christmas Day. Well, they always do Christmas Day, right? So that's every year. Okay, so this is the 4th year that they've done Christmas Day. This was the first time they did Thanksgiving, and I suspect they're going to be doing Thanksgiving again in the future because it was such a success. The tree lighting as well was wonderful. It was unfortunate because before that was also, or at the same time, was also the service for the fallen officer. So it was kind of, there were some of us who went to the service, so it was kind of going from a sad event to a happy event. And it was a little difficult, but it was, we got through it. So, but it really was very nice. And Eric and your team in Parks and Rec, I just have to thank you again. You guys did such a great job. I know you were out there for all day and testing the lights and chasing off people who were stealing pieces of the tree and bulbs and the whole thing. So, but at least it was done, and it was done right, and the music was great. And we had Collins Elementary students, we had South Broward High School students. It was just a really good event, and lots of city staff stayed as well for the tree lighting, and we had lots of people from all over the city that were there. It was a very nice event as well, much better than last year. And the only other thing I really wanted to say is, well, I am excited about the menorah lighting. I'm glad to see that we're doing that. That's something that I don't think we've done in the past, and it's. I'm glad to see that we're including more and more and expanding to make sure that we're including all faiths and religions. So that's also a very good thing. And again, December 23rd at 6, I think it was. Okay, 6 p.m. Okay, so be there. The only other thing I want to say is I just want to say thank you to city staff in general. You guys have really been working hard this year. There's some brand new people here, and there's some people that are new this year. But there's also people that have been here a long time, and it seems like everybody has really been putting in such an effort. And I really appreciate that. So just want to say thank you. That's all. And that's all I have. Thank you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. If I missed anything, I apologize. but enjoy the holidays and spend some time with your families. Appointments. Do we have anybody for the Complete Count Advisory Committee? The census. No. Okay. All right. Creative Arts Council. I am going to have somebody for you in January, perhaps. And I know Commissioner James.
Heather back there. Yep. I don't have her information, but she's right there, Tom. Can you give Tom your information? You can just walk right there and give it to him, and then stole her. Okay. Thanks, Karen.
I actually have a request out to somebody, so that's why I'm saying January, okay? All right. Green Advisory Board, Vice Mayor Oddman.
No, I don't have anyone today.
Okay.
Heather, you want to sit on the Green Advisory Board, too? Never mind. Never mind. Just joking. JK. Oh, you're already on Parks, so sorry.
All right, administrative reports, city manager.
Do we have to make a motion?
Oh, that's right, we do. We actually
make
appointed somebody, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the appointments.
Do you have a second? Yes. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, administrative reports, city manager.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Commission, residents of the great city of Dania Beach. This marks my 9 months as your city manager. And during my swearing in, the vice mayor said, welcome home. And I do feel that as if I'm home. I'm extremely passionate about this great city. And every day we're taking strides to make the city safer and more beautiful. I concur with the mayor and the vice mayor and all the commissioners have said about the city team. They're running on all cylinders. And I swear to God, Eric Brown tested the tree 1,700 times in one day. And, we're here to be inclusive of all faiths, of all people. We're doing some great things. We had a city auction. We had a bunch of obsolete vehicles that were collecting dust. And basically, the public services team together put a great auction together. And we were able to raise $70,000 that we can now put back in the coffers and reinvest and continue to reinvest to make our city safer and more beautiful. For the first time ever now, thanks to our Parks and Recreation Director, we're going to have winter camp in all 3 parks. idle kids are kids waiting to get in trouble. So to be able to have a program at PJ Milley Park, and at C.W. Thomas, and at Frost Park for all our kids this winter is truly fantastic, and I'm very grateful that we'll be able to do that. In these 40 pages that are the content of my manager's report, these are memos from all department directors, and you could see all the great things that are happening every day in our city, from our fire department to our police department to finance, public services, parks and rec, building and zoning, the clerk's office. It's truly a remarkable team, and we're running on all cylinders, and we look forward to the new year. I also wanted to let you know that today I received a letter from Waste Management. Corey Taylor, one of our superstars that works for Public Services, inquired with Waste Management because I've been getting a lot of complaints on bulk trash out on the streets for a long time. It's really created an environment for illegal dumping. And the assistant manager and I spend every day at least an hour driving through our city. So we may have an opportunity to invest a little to be able to get that second bulk pickup. So rather than have one a month, we can have two a month. And that's something that I'm going to come back with you with some numbers. But anything that makes our city safer and cleaner and more beautiful, we're going to look into, particularly when it's something that residents have been calling me about. So I'm going to come back within the next couple of days and be able to give you some information. But that second bulk pickup for our residents would be fantastic, because what's happening is we are tasking our team and we're taking resources off of code and off of the streets to be able to pick up, but that's extremely important. I also have some dates that I want you to please look at your schedules. You all did a fantastic job to pass our first ever Parks Master Plan. So we want to be able to meet with our finance team and with our financial advisors to give you different options for funding. So we have January the 8th in the afternoon or January the 9th in the afternoon to see what would be best. We'd be looking at maybe an hour and a half at the most. But I wanted to see how your calendars were for this day to discuss the Parks Master Plan and the opportunities you may have.
Any particular time in the afternoon?
On the 8th, he's free all afternoon, and on the 9th, we have our city center meeting, so anytime after 4. We could do a 4 to 5:30 on the 9th, or on the 8th, anytime after 1 p.m. 1 to 3 or 1 to 2:30 on the 8th, and on the 9th, 4 to 5:30.
If we could avoid the 5:30 one, that would be helpful for me. But
so we could definitely do the 8th early afternoon if you all are available.
Could we, as long as it's after 1 o'clock?
We could do like a 1:30 to 3.
Would that work for you, Mayor?
Works for me.
What about my colleagues?
I'm gonna have to try to shuffle some things around. So it's the 8th tentatively.
The 8th from 1:30 to 3.
Is there any other proposed dates other than those two?
We have the 9th, but I think the vice mayor.
No, well,
request.
I know. I'm saying anything other than those two.
There's another date, but which is the day that we have the city center negotiation that happens in the.
Other than the 8th and the 9th?
Yeah, for now, the 8th and the 9th. Yeah.
Are there any other dates other than the 8th and the 9th that we can look at?
No, for now, these are the dates that we have.
Okay, can we come up with another tentative date other than the 8th? Then we're going to scratch the 9th off because it's the 4 to 5:30.
Or if there's if we could just do a smidge earlier on the 9th.
I mean,
can you do a little earlier on the 9th?
Yeah, I could. What do you mean smidge?
To get out by, I would need to be done by 4:30.
Yeah, I need to be done by 4.
So that'd have to be 3, but you have a meeting, is that
I need
what
to
you
be done
said?
by
We
4.
can start the meeting a little earlier, so we can make that happen.
I could do that.
So,
I'm sorry, what time?
Like 3 o'clock? Is that what
We'll be
you're
able to
saying?
get you out by 4:30.
Okay.
We can do 3 to 4:30.
3.
I could do that.
How long is the meeting? If it's an hour, can
An hour
it be?
and a half, no more.
Okay. Okay. Can it start at 2:30?
Yes.
Okay. I could do 2:30 on the 9th.
2:30, 3.
I could do it. I could do it.
Okay, we can make that happen on 2:30 on the 9th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't ask Commissioner Brandemarty.
I can't give you the date now. I can by tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we say tentatively then?
Okay.
I like what you said about afternoon, Mayor. That's good for me. I know that. I think morning would be a problem. That's what I want to go home and check.
Okay, so 2:30,
Yeah, afternoon's fine.
you'll let us know.
Afternoon. We're saying 2:30 on.
That's what you said, right?
No, well, I think the Vice Mayor, well, I don't know. 2:30 on the 9th, tentatively.
Yes, I said I'm going to have to look to get back to you.
Tentatively.
When you hear back from Commissioner Brandemarty, City Manager, could you just email us to
Yes, absolutely.
to confirm and
we'll get you out of here no later than 4:30.
Or send out an e-bite, something.
Thank you. And tomorrow I'll be sending you some dates as well for your strategic planning session. And with that, thank you for the privilege and the honor to be your city manager. I look forward to a banner year in 2020, and things are only going to get more beautiful and safer and more cohesive here in the city of Dana Beach, working with this amazing group of individuals that we have representing and serving our city. Thank you.
City Attorney?
I'd like to join with the commission and the manager to wish everyone happy and safe holidays, of course, as well as New Year's. I think you'll find a new year that we all are confident is going to be a really amazing year in this city for all the things that are coming to us, all the new businesses that are opening, the new other ones that are being revitalized. It's going to be a wonderful journey for us. And we have some nice to have the people back, like the finance director and Colin and the HR director. Nice that the manager brought back people who are talented to help out, who had some experience here. Appreciate that.
City Clerk?
Upcoming meeting reminders, Thursday, December 12th, that's the day after tomorrow, at 4 p.m., you have a CRA board meeting. Then Tuesday, January 14, 2020, at 5:30 is your CRA board meeting, followed by the regular City Commission meeting at 7 p.m. That's all. Thank you.
With that, we are adjourned. Thursday.
Thank you for everything that you're doing. I think it's fantastic. It's a privilege to work with you. I really enjoy
I like grants.